The iPhone Ultra is actually real. Yes, Apple is actually making a top tier, even more flagship iPhone, but it's probably not gonna look like this. Plus, we've got some updates on some all new iPads, some experimental Apple products that may be launching soon, and also with all the shuffling of different events and announcements and different products, I thought it'd sort of be best to break down what we can expect from Apple for the rest of 2024. So without further ado, you let me know in the comments down below if you're excited or not, but let me break down what new products from Apple are coming this year, when they're coming, and the stuff you probably should actually care about and want to look forward to. So probably the first thing we should talk about is WWDC. It's like just days away at this point, happening on June 10th. And this is Apple's annual developer conference. And yes, there's gonna be a heavy emphasis on developer tools and coding and stuff like that, and resources and APIs and all those buzzwords. But for us regular consumers, this is where Apple shows off their big software updates for the year. This is where we get all the new previews for big features coming to the iPad and the iPhone, Apple Watch, Mac. Also, for the first time ever, a new update for Vision OS, which should give us some new features there. Whether that's gonna be worth it or not is sort of to be determined. But now that we're so close, we've got a lot of last minute leaks on iOS 18, and let me just sort of give you the highlights. Basically, what we're hearing right now is that iOS 18 is set to be, by all the people in the know, one of, if not the most significant iPhone software updates we have ever gotten. This is beyond the big transformation between iOS 6 and iOS 7. We're talking a major overhaul here that's gonna make your phone more customizable, more personal, and also smarter than it's ever been before. We might be getting a Vision OS style redesign, the ability to sort of place apps anywhere on your home screen, and then also, of course, the big buzzword for 2024, AI, and all these new AI features. What we think we know right now is that Apple is planning a major partnership with OpenAI. This is the company behind ChatGPT and other AI tools. This is gonna be one of the cornerstones of iOS 18. Plus, we're hearing that Apple might be even collaborating with Google still as well to bring parts of their Gemini AI into iOS 18. And the closer we get to the reveal of iOS 18, the more we begin to know. And what it seems like right now is that Apple's strategy is going to be different from the competition. Instead of like high-level AI tools and a chatbot and stuff like that, Apple's gonna leverage new AI technologies just to make their system smarter and bring you more daily conveniences. So this is basically just gonna be big improvements to notes and photos and messages and maybe the camera and other things. Also, given the new round of iPad hardware updates and the new M4 in the iPad Pro, it'll be interesting to see if this is the year that iPadOS finally becomes a game changer. I feel like every year Apple touts the next big thing for the iPad and the software always falls short, so that'll be interesting to look at. And like I mentioned, watchOS updates, macOS updates, visionOS 2.0 updates. And in terms of big hardware announcements, any new products we could see, let me just tell you right now that you probably should not get your hopes up. According to Mark Gurman over at Bloomberg, the man in the know, likely no new hardware is gonna be announced this year at WWDC. Apple's gonna be really going all in on iOS 18 and their new Apple Intelligence AI features, though there's always the chance of one more thing. Maybe we get some sort of surprise iPhone 16 announcement, though it's probably not gonna be in that way. Apple's not gonna, go out on stage and show off the new hardware coming this fall, but we likely will see a lot of hints and clues based off of what we see in iOS 18. We're also hearing that Apple might take things a step further and reserve some exclusive new features just for the iPhone 16 series later on this fall. So while we won't get an explicit, hey, here's the iPhone 16, we're gonna see a lot of what Apple's planning for later on this year, and a lot of hints and clues will be dropped that give us a really good look at what the iPhone 16 will be in just a couple of months from now. Moving on from that, of course, is gonna be the big Apple event happening in the fall. Around early to mid-September, Apple is going to reveal a slew of new products, and this is really their flagship event of the year. Now, I just did a full detail covering the iPhone 16, all the latest features, everything to expect, and if you want to watch that video, just stay to the end of this video. I'm going to have a really convenient place where you can tap and sort of learn all about that, but don't skip out on the video right now because you got to know the other stuff that's coming, and then watch that right at the end. I'll put a little thing on screen so you can easily click and go to that. But of course, iPhone 16 is going to be here. Big iPhone 16 reveal with the lineup and all that stuff is going to be cool. Also, we're expecting some all-new Apple Watches as well. This is supposed to be a pretty big year for the Apple Watch with sort of the 10th anniversary, and we might be getting a new Apple Watch Series X or Apple Watch Series 10. Rumors on this are sparse, but from what we've heard, this is going to be a pretty significant upgrade to the Apple Watch. You might be getting an all-new design. We would have a new mechanism for attaching bands, so your older bands might not work. Maybe a new, more refined processor and display. It's a little tough to predict what's going to happen right now because now that we've got the Apple Watch Ultra, it's hard to know what's better. Is the Apple Watch Ultra above Series X? Is Series X above it? Which one's more flagship? That's gonna be a little confusing. And also, speaking of Apple Watch Ultra, we're hearing from Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo to not expect any major upgrades to Apple Watch Ultra Series 3 this year, or version 3, if we get that at all. Besides that, there are some wild cards we may get throughout the year. Remember last year, Apple did a late October event, so maybe there's one more Apple event to sort of wrap up 2024, because there's still a couple other products that could be seen before the end of the year. Namely, that would be an all-new version of AirPods Max. Yes, Apple hasn't forgotten about AirPods Max. We should be getting a minor update to those sometime this year. Some new iPad updates could be in store. We're hearing that Apple actually might be working on an iPad mini with OLED display tech built in, but that's a couple of years away. Same goes for OLED MacBook Pros, so some more minor updates could be coming before the end of this year. And then also we've heard that sometime this year, Apple is going to launch a new budget version of AirPods, or basically an upgrade to AirPods Gen 3 to AirPods Gen 4, and then release AirPods Gen 3, the existing one, at a lower $99 price. So some AirPods lineup shuffling might be happening. New AirPods Pro are coming, but probably not coming until next year. So expect that. And then that's kind of it for Apple in 2024. Big emphasis on iPhone 16, big emphasis on iOS 18. But besides that, that's kind of what you need to know right now. Beyond that, the other Apple tidbits of news you should know for the week is that a folding Mac might actually be in the works as one of Apple's first foldable products. So this is something we might actually see over the next couple of years. Like I mentioned, Apple is working on some new OLED displays for their future products. Apple sort of gearing up to begin production of the iPhone 16. And then one other big thing we've got to talk about is the news on the iPhone 17. And I know it's a little early, you gotta take this with a major grain of salt, but what we're hearing right now is that the iPhone Ultra that was sort of rumored for this year, that's not happening this year, is set to happen next year, but in a really weird way. What we're hearing right now is that with the iPhone 17 lineup, Apple is going to kill off the plus size phone. Apparently this phone is not selling well. Apple has not had a lot of luck with this sort of second tier mid-level phone. The mini failed, the plus seems to have failed. And next year, Apple is gonna introduce an iPhone 17 Slim. And although it's going to sort of replace the plus phone in the lineup, we're hearing right now that this actually might be an even higher end iPhone that would sort of be the Ultra phone we've been waiting for. So next year we could be getting an iPhone 17, just one regular model, an iPhone 17 Pro, 17 Pro Max, and then some sort of higher end iPhone 17. This would have a screen size in between the Pro and Pro Max, and would have some even more high-end features. It's supposedly gonna be really slim given the name, might actually be built out of aluminum and not stainless steel, and again, may have some other higher-end features and be the most expensive iPhone we've ever gotten. As we've seen from Apple in the Apple Watch category and in the iPad category, Apple is sort of leaning now into their more pro-focused, deeper pocket consumers and looking to build even higher price things. Obviously, Vision Pro might be a little too expensive at $3,500, but I think that Apple's sort of banking on the fact that people might be willing to spend a little bit more to get a higher end iPhone. So that is what we know about a higher end iPhone for the iPhone 17. Also, of course, the other things we're hearing, a lot of good news as of right now on the iPhone 17. All phones next year should be getting ProMotion, so finally ProMotion will be coming to the lower end iPhones. We should, of course, be getting some camera improvements across the board, and also the notch next year, should say the dynamic island, should be shrinking, as Apple is set to move Face ID totally under the display, and the only physical sort of cutout you'd have in the screen next year, presumably as of now, would just be for the selfie camera. So that little dot, like the actual concepts we've got on screen here, may actually be coming true sometime next year. But of course, remember, this is the story we hear every single year. The closer we get to the reveal of the launch of this year's iPhone, the better next year's iPhone always sounds. So take that with a grain of salt, but of course, I want to know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think about this? Would you buy an iPhone 17 Slim? Are you interested in an iPhone Ultra or a higher end iPhone? And also your thoughts on sort of Apple's game plan for the rest of the year. Your thoughts on the events, WWDC, the fall event. Let me know your thoughts down below. And also, if you want to know the latest on the iPhone 16, you want to know what to expect, all the rumors and links we know as of right now, click right here or here, somewhere on screen. Tap if you're on your phone, click on your computer to watch everything you need to know about the iPhone 16. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you all. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.